Hello everyone, in this video I'll be covering all of the buffs and nerfs to heroes in Marvel Rivals as part of their Season 1 balance patch that is coming. And there's some pretty great upgrades to some heroes. Some heroes do get nerfed, but I think as a whole they have some pretty good changes coming here. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is Captain America, who is in desperate need of a buff because he just does not feel like very strong. First and foremost, they upgraded his health from 650 to 675, so a nice little buff to his overall healing, or his overall health. Also, Liberty Rush, which is our nice dash attack, has a 12-second cooldown, which they are now changing to 10 seconds, which is awesome because this is just a really great move and speed ability. Now, also reducing the delay time for the shield restoration. So you can see there, whenever we block our shield, we don't actually have the ability to bring it back up again that quickly. So we now got the ability to do that a little faster. This is essential because Captain America thrives off having a shield up, being able to reflect projectiles, and sometimes you just need to be able to bring it up a little bit faster. So reducing that from 3 seconds to 2 seconds is really nice because that means we'll be able to pull up our shield a lot faster. Not as quickly as like Doctor Strange can, but still, it's a really useful buff. In addition to this, reducing the overall cost of his ultimate, which is great. So it's went from 3,400 energy to 3,100. So that's the amount of damage that you need to deal to be able to get this to come up. And it'll also reduce the additional health provided per second from 110 to 100, which is still good because it's hard to take Captain America out of his ultimate. But yeah, Captain America across the board, some pretty nice changes, better mobility, better use of his shield, and more health. I think that's all welcomed. But next, Doctor Strange is getting some nerfs, unfortunately. My favorite hero to play as. Doctor Strange is great. He's got good range. His buff, or his nerfs aren't too bad. So basically, they're changing the damage fall off of the Maelstrom of Madness. So this attack here, they're going to give it damage fall off. It'll only drop to 70% max damage at 8 meters. So that's not too bad of a buff or a nerf. We'll take that. I mean, I knew something was coming for Doctor Strange with his usage rates. And a slight decrease to the shield recovery. So normally this would recover 80 shield per second once you put it away. It's now only going to be 70 shields per second. So slight nerf to the amount of shield that you can generate. That's fine. I feel like these are both fair. It doesn't make him like super strong, doesn't make him weak by any means. But also Thor got some increased survivability. And I still feel like they need to do a little bit more for Thor. So with Thor, his base health will be increasing. Right now it's buffed up to 600, but normally his health is 500. They're going to be increasing his health to 525. So a nice increase to his overall health, which is, I think, definitely something that he needs. But he also generates health by using his abilities here. So that's another thing. And also he gets immunity to crowd control effects during his God of Thunder ultimate ability. So that's nice. A little bit extra health. I think that works well, plus additional benefits to his ultimate. So nothing crazy. I hope that he still gets a team up to give himself that extra 100 health because he definitely needs that extra health as a tank. Thor feels a little bit lackluster in some ways. Banner. So Bruce Banner has been a pretty interesting character. Basically what they're doing for the Hulk is they're changing from the indestructible Gamma Guard shield. So normally whenever he pops up a shield, it had 250 health. Now it only has 200. So another thing with Hulk is if you're playing, put on his ability to turn his jump bar on without having to hold down the space bar or your jump button. This makes Hulk so much better. I don't see a lot of people knowing that, so I just want to put that little tip out there as well. But yeah, slight nerf, not too crazy, just brings them in line with the other Vanguards. And if you see a good Hulk player, they're kind of scary to play against. But Venom, our boy Venom, got some nice buffs here. So Venom just feels like he needs a little bit more. There are some good Venom players, but yeah, they also give him the symbiotic resilience. So the bonus health that you get from your symbiotic resilience, that shield ability, changes from per loss health point from 1 to 1.25. So Venom now has even more health, making him more annoying, which is great. Increasing the base damage of the Feast of the Abyss. So his ultimate attack from 40% to 50%. So a little bit of a damage buff too, which is nice. Some people are saying that his grab here will have a bit more a bit more of a slow effect on it. I'm not sure if that's true because it's not in the patch notes, but just what some other people are saying. But this is great for Venom. I still feel like he should maybe get a change to his web swing ability, but we'll take what we got here. Now, we got ourselves a change to Black Panther, which I'll be talking about next. So reducing the additional health that provided itself after using Vibranium Marks with Spirit Ren from 40 to 30, and the upper limit of overall health is now only 75%. So yeah, just a little nerf there, just to bring things back in line. I don't think this is too bad. Black Panthers can be a really tough opponent to go against, so I think that's really recognizable. Now, Black Widow was definitely needing optimization because she just felt pretty weak in comparison. I like Black Widow, but I don't think that she's good in the game at all. So I've never really played her, but increase the range of the edge dancer from a 3-meter radius to a 5-meter radius. So her kick attack normally only has a 3-meter radius. They're boosting that to 5 meters. So you can see there, we can't hit them from like this close a range. It'll now be 5 meters. So that's a pretty good range. I think that that's well worth changing. Also reduces the time for the fleet foot here. So her like sprint attack, it's based on stamina. So her stamina recovery will increase a lot faster, which is nice. Normally it would take 12 seconds to fully reach the top, but now it'll only be 4 seconds. So she can run and jump around a little bit faster too. I think that that's very worthwhile. So nice to see a change for Black Widow. She's not like crazy strong. I would say she's one of the worst characters in the game. So these buffs are very useful. And I think we'll see some different ways of people using Black Widow. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Hawkeye, which is known as one of the best characters in the game, is getting nerfed, obviously. His seasonal damage buff is going from that 20% to 15%, so likely won't be headshotting people for one-shots anymore. Also decreasing the medium range damage that he'll be dealing, so slightly reducing the spread angle every 2 blast arrows. So whenever you switch to the blast arrows, you can see there, they spread really far. They're going to be changing it so that they attack a little bit closer, and I think that that's a very worthwhile change because it's hard to hit people with those. And also reducing the passive effect of Archer's focus from 60 meters to 40 meters, reducing the maximum additional damage from 80 to 70. So the Hunter's focus, whenever you aim down on a target, they're going to reduce the range and also reduce the damage on that. And I think that that's fair because the damage that it can give is crazy. It's given whenever you look down the sights of the target there, and you can see it's very strong. So I think that that works really well. Also, who dominates with Hawkeye? Hela. She's also getting nerfed. So with her, she's gonna get her base health reduced from the 275 that she has now to 250. I think that works well. Playing with Hela is almost like using a marksman rifle, I find. So her main attack, well, it only has 8 attacks. You're not gonna want to hold it down. You're gonna want to treat this again more like a marksman rifle, and you can see her damage is crazy. So I think that this works. Just decreasing her overall health will be nice because there's so many Helas that got me down with very little health that just was frustrating. So Magik got an increase for threat after releasing her ultimate, which I know a lot of people are scared of her ultimate, but increases the incursion damage in Dark Child form from 115 to 135. So yeah, she is getting a change to her overall damage when going into her ultimate, but other than that, everything seems to stay pretty much the same. Whenever you're using Magik, there isn't a combo that you want to be doing, so you can attack, cancel with your melee, attack, cancel the melee, or do the attack, melee, E, attack, melee. There's a few combos that you can do with her. But next we got ourselves a change for Moon Knight, and actually he got a buff, which is a little bit weird because some people think that Moon Knight is a little bit too overpowered. But you can change the amount of talents generated from Khonshu's ability, for the ultimate ability, from 10 to 15, and also increases the radius of each talent. So his ultimate's going to get a little bit more damage. Pretty crazy because he's already quite powerful. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes. But Moon Knight, I don't think his buffs are too impactful, but they're also changing Namor, which is a pretty interesting buff that they're giving. So optimizing the throwing field of the monstrous spawn and frozen spawns. When you throw out his little squids there, they are going to get a bit of a better toss range, so they don't just feel like you're just throwing them on the ground. See there, they have a really big fall off, which is kind of a difficult thing to deal with. Putting these up high is useful because people typically don't look at them when they're up high, so that's another really nice thing. But yeah, you're getting a little bit of a change there, so you can accurately throw them where you want instead of having to aim really high. So Psylocke actually got a interesting change too. So with her, to dance to the butterfly, her ultimate will check for barriers. So if there's like, if Magneto's shield is up, or like Hulk's shield, Doctor Strange's shield, it'll be able to block her attack now, which normally when she went to her ultimate, it wouldn't. Now, Psylocke's ultimate isn't really meant, you can obviously use it against tanks, but Psylocke's biggest benefit is getting to the backline and taking out a healer, because when she uses her ultimate, the more people that are in it, the more the damage spreads between them. So she really actually benefits from having people just staying outside of hers ultimate, unless they're healers. So also, they made a crazy change to Punisher, which I think Punisher is actually pretty strong. He's good for new players too, so it's a nice change, I guess. So increasing the damage by decreasing the spread. So you can see the spread here. I guess you can't really see the spread, but when you go to the shotgun, pretty widespread, and they're going to reduce the spread of this and his main fire gun. So this will help with keeping pesky Iron Man out of the sky. I found his weapon to be pretty accurate already, but changing that, we'll see how that benefits him. But now we're getting a buff to Wanda, because Wanda's biggest benefit is she does percentage-based damage, which obviously is not good against lower health targets like duelists or strategists. So the chaos controls fixed damage is going from 50 to 60 damage per second, so that's nice. Reducing the percentage-based damage from 5% to 3%, so buffing the percentage of damage, lowering the percent-based damage, and then the Chthonian burst is going to get an increase to its damage as well, so that's nice. I feel like Scarlet Witch is not that strong. It feels like she's strong if you don't know how to go against her, but she's pretty easy to counter. So these buffs I don't think are too bad. Just means you have to pay attention to her if you're playing as a strategist or a duelist a little bit more, because typically she would have a better damage going against larger health enemies, kind of similar to how Wolverine does. Now, Storm has been very weak. She literally just throws her fart slaps around. Not really that great. And Storm is a great character, so I'm glad they're actually putting some respect on her. So increasing her damage quite a bit, increasing the projectile speed. So these move at 100 meters per second. They're increasing the speed to 150 meters per second. And the left click damage from 50 to 55. So a nice little buff there. Not a huge buff to the damage, but it's better than nothing. Also increasing the bolt rush damage from 70 to 80, so another nice buff to her damage. And after releasing her ultimate, the bonus health provided for herself was increased from 350 to 450, so that's a very considerable jump in her overall damage. She has a great ultimate too. It's so frustrating to go against because it hits really hard, but this temporary health that she'll be getting is really nice, so I think that's worthwhile. And the extra health will no longer vanish immediately after going into your ultimate, so it goes away at 100 per second. So nice little buff overall. I think it's well deserved for Storm, because she definitely needed something else. Now Squirrel Girl, I think that she got a bit of a better buff because her ultimate previously kind of sucked because it would bounce it around randomly. Now it's going to seek out the nearest target. So whenever you use her ultimate, you throw it down. You see it's just going to bounce off somewhat randomly and go wherever it wants. I got lucky there with that. But now after hitting a target, it'll bounce off and go to the next target, and it will reduce the health. So that thing, the ultimate had a health of 600, and the health is now being decreased to 300. So a little bit of a change there. I think that's worthwhile adjustment. It makes her a little bit less random to play, and it makes it easier to get her trophy. Now, Winter Soldier got a bit of a change here, so decreasing long-range combat. So increase the bonus health provided by the Bionic Hook and the Tainted Voltage. So you see there the 300 health that we got. We now get 310, so a little bit extra health, really nice. And the Rod and Stern's projectile damage is going to be increased as well, so that's good too. Reduces the area damage from 70 to 60, and reduces damage DK from 65%, so that's on the ultimate. And then increases base health from 250 to 275. So a nice buff to his health. Hela's losing health, and Winter Soldier's gaining health. So that's an interesting combination. And Wolverine's getting a buff too. So Wolverine, I know a lot of people really like playing Wolverine. I think Wolverine's awesome. But increasing his base health from 300 to 350, that's actually quite a huge change. And I think that that's worthwhile. I've been saying Wolverine should have been a Vanguard, but I'll take it as this. This works well. 350 health, and reducing the damage reduction ratio but Undying Animal from 50% to 40%. So he'll have less damage negation, but better survivability in general. So I think that these changes work really well for Wolverine. It makes him, I feel like, it's a bit more balanced. Now, in terms of strategists, we got some interesting buffs. I'm a Cloak and Dagger main. We got a huge buff here. So reduces the cooldown on Dagger Storm from 10 seconds to 12. So Dagger Storm being your little heal bubble. Normally a 12-second cooldown, or a 15-second cooldown is quite a bit. So a 12-second cooldown is really nice. And our ultimate, so normally we go 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to be able to do this a 4th time. So that's nice. It gives you a better zoning area. Also, if you see this for your team, stand in it. It'll heal you to 20 per second. I have so many teammates that just don't know that, and I'm trying to like tell them, gather up, but no one really knows. So just want to put a little PSA out there. But that's nice. I'm a big Cloak and Dagger fan, so happy with that. Jeff the Land Shark. Getting some changes to his ultimate. I still feel like they probably need to do more to his ultimate, but we'll see how it affects his gameplay. So his ultimate goes from a 10-meter sphere, which is why you'd sometimes get hit with it with the weirdest hitboxes. It is now a 10-meter radius and 5-meter cyclical height. So you can see here the distance between these. This is going to be the height of it. So if you're able to get up past that, you won't get grabbed by his ultimate. So Doctor Strange using his ability to fly up in the air, you're safe now. Normally you weren't, which is huge. But his healing from the Joyful Splash is now increased from 140 per second to 150. This is great. I think that his healing is actually kind of underrated because it'll pierce through multiple targets. But Jeff's just not that good. He's probably the weakest strategist, so we'll take that. Now Luna Snow has got to change, and it changes to, it's a big change to her ultimate. So normally when you go into her ultimate, you would get the ability to switch between her healing and her damage boost pretty much non-stop. So I'll show you here. You could bind this to your scroll wheel and just spam the two of them, and you could just switch between them at will. This keeps your team full of health, and then also getting the 40% damage buff, which is huge. Now they changed this from a 0.1 second difference between switching to a 0.5, so you can't do that anymore. You have to be a bit more strategic, but I still think that that's really good. Mantis. I don't know why they had to do this, but Mantis's base speed, you can see she moves really fast whenever she has her full health. This is a 2.5 meters per second boost to her movement speed. They're decreasing that to 1.5 meters. I don't like that change personally. I feel like Mantis is fine, didn't need to decrease her movement speed. But hey, it's the way they wanted to roll with it, so who am I to judge? It's just it just sucks for Mantis mains. But didn't see her getting nerfed. I thought Luna Snow's ultimate would for sure, but Rocket Raccoon got a really nice increase. So Rocket's kind of a heal bot. Like, his damage isn't crazy. His healing orbs are really his bread and butter of his kit, because they do pretty good healing. However, his healing is pretty slow, so that's one thing you got to watch out for. Is it's not fast. It's 60 per second, but these are now being buffed up to 70 per second. So those that really enjoy playing Rocket, he's going to have even better healing, which I think is awesome. So that's great. Now there is some changes to the team up abilities. So Hawkeye's and Black Widow's team up. The damage boost is decreased from 20% to 15%, so a little bit less damage. I think that that works really well. Much like Hawkeye's, Hela's damage buff from playing with both Thor and Loki is going to be decreased. So the nice damage boost that she got is going down, which I think makes sense. Rocket Raccoon, Punisher, and Winter Soldier, so their infinite ammo reduces the cooldown from 45 seconds to 40. So that's an awesome change because it's really fun to play as either of these characters. Like, if you're playing as Winter Soldier, normal attack speed, pretty slow, and then you can turn this into literally like a really fast firing gun, so you can just completely shred people down with his weapon. I love this, and it makes it have infinite ammo, so that's good. Changing this cooldown, I think it'll work interestingly. Scarlet Witch and Magneto are getting a pretty nice buff, so the damage from Metallic Fusion whenever you're playing as Magneto is going to get buffed from 60 damage to 70 damage. Or from 55 to 60 damage, and the spell field will be increased from 30 to 35. So that's a nice damage buff. I think this is a pretty fun ability to use, but they're making it even better, which is nice because Scarlet Witch is not super strong. It gives you great range too as him. They're also buffing Storm's side of the team up ability, so whenever she's teamed up with Captain America and Thor, typically Thor, the ability of her team up reduces the cooldown from 20 seconds to 15 on Charged Gale and increases the damage from 50 to 55. So some nice changes across the board. Just want to cover all the updates with Marvel Rivals Season 1 balance patch coming out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think there's some pretty interesting changes here, so feel free to leave a comment, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.